that doctors never talk about.
There is a large pole going through two teenagers and connecting them together. How the heck could this have happened? How could this possibly occur?
Intense.
These are stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Told by the real doctors who live them.
Okay, no calls.
Clear.
Let's go, gentlemen, let's go. How's the patient in the back seat?
Good. Okay, great. Good? Yes, all right.
You got vitals on her?
Working on it, Captain, working on it right now.
Okay, get some vitals. How's she doing in the front seat there?
We're not responsive.
She's not responding?
Negative.
We need to get her out of this car. So we need to get this taken care of, guys. Let's go.
16-year-old best friends Brianna Meeker and Marisol Weber are trapped.
Relax, relax. It's okay. It's just a protection for your family. Get everything you need. Okay. Somebody else jump back.
Their car had gone off the road in the country, down an embankment, and went through a chain link fence.
Do not touch this pole. Don't try to talk.
And part of the fence had come in through the car, through the windshield, and had gone through the driver on the right side of the chest, had gone through the back of the seat that the driver was sitting in the car, continued through that seat, and went into the leg of a person, another passenger sitting in the back seat of the car.
Brianna, we can't take this out of you right now. Okay, we don't want to injure you any further, but we're going to get you out of here soon, okay? All right, hang in there.
At the scene of accidents or injuries like this, if you're not a trained healthcare personnel, you would think, why not just simply pull these things out?
We're ready to lift. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Careful, easy. The pole can't move an inch.
Got her.
But if you're talking about penetrating objects to the torso, that is the chest, the back, the abdomen, that object may be holding pressure against a major hole in a major artery or blood vessel that as soon as it's released is going to just bleed out very, very quickly.
Let's go, let's go. You gotta cut the seat, right?
Okay, let's cut the seat.
So instead what they had to do was separate pieces of the car and cut down through the seat to pull the entire pole out intact with two patients skewered together on this.
Easy, going good.
Move from the back. Good.
You got it.
And separate the seat.
Separate the seat. 1, 2, 3.
Easy, easy, go. Easy, easy. Hold the pole, hold the pole. Okay. Okay. Separate. Easy, easy. Easy. Slow, slow, slow. Somebody. Okay, slow motion.
I need the hallway cleared now. People, get on it. I need everything out of the hallway right now. We have a double trauma. Dr. Panichek, you gotta see this. I've never seen anything like it.
When you've been in the emergency department for years and years and years, you kind of get this feeling like you have seen everything.
It's okay, keep it really slow. Keep it slow.
But I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that.
What are the numbers? Patient 1 is a chest wound. She's got a blood pressure of 100 over 60. Respiratory rate
Hey, we gotta get the beds out of here.
We got it. We're going to take it wide. Get the side.
16-year-olds Brianna Meeker and Marisol Weber were in a horrific car crash. Incredibly, they're both impaled on the same metal fence post.
They're being brought in almost like one of those old African movies where they're bringing in game from the wild on a pole, hanging from the pole.
Cross for blood.
They look ashen white. They are in a state of shock. They don't know what is going on. They don't know really what has happened to them. They don't know what is going to happen to them. They don't know if they're going to be okay. They are just there in that wide-eyed look of shock.
What's your name?
All the usual standard emergency medicine, trauma, care, sorts of things go through your mind. But in the back of your mind, if you're any kind of human being, you're also thinking, oh my gosh, how the heck could this have happened? How could this possibly occur?
As far as we can go.
In 20 years as an ER doctor, Edward Panicek has never faced a trauma like this. 2 teenage girls impaled in a car accident. One through the chest, the other through the leg, on the same pole.
When you see someone with an injury like this, the assumption is generally that that's got to be incredibly painful.
Check. We need to check her over there. Okay. You got this patient over here. Son? Son, I need you to come over here, please.
What about here?
I need some help over here.
But the surprising thing is that often we see this in the heat of the moment with the acute injury. Patients can have astoundingly bad injuries and be in remarkably little pain. That was the situation here.
For Dr. Panicek, the entire situation is unimaginable. It defies all medical convention.
Okay, let's get them 10 milligrams MSIM. Okay. And let's get some sodium.
I don't think there are any textbooks that tell you exactly what sort of force injuries you can expect with something like this. But the amount of force to push that through all the way must have just been horrific.
We need to alert radiology, please.
Okay, I'll do that.
Anytime you have a hollow polar object like this, just as anyone knows from pipes or straws, when it goes through something, whether it's into the dirt or through a piece of fruit or something, it generally takes a core of material out with it as it goes through. So one of the things that's obviously going through our minds is, did this thing just core out a piece of tissue just as it went through?
Did you notice any body tissue with this, Essie?
No, nothing.
Okay, Rosie, we need to take a look inside this thing.
Okay, here. Here's a light. I already called radiology. They're on the way. Okay, open the fluids up wide.
So we're looking in there to see how much tissue might be in the pole, but looking down through there, we didn't really see much.
Any blood loss at the scene?
No, we gave him some Ringer's lactate, though.
There was remarkably little active bleeding going on that we could see externally. So we're concerned, is there bleeding going on inside, particularly in the chest of the driver?
Okay, let's get them 10 milligrams MSIM, and let's get them 1 gram cefazolin, piggyback.
And if she is bleeding inside her chest, it may only be a matter of time, minutes, before her blood pressure drops and she goes into shock.
This is Brianna.
The scene in Trauma Bay number 1 is the stuff of nightmares. 2 teenage girls are speared on a steel pole.
I'm being very careful.
One through the thigh, the other through the chest.
Stabilize this.
Their injuries are critical and require immediate surgery. But Dr. Edward Panicek can't properly diagnose or treat them like this.
What's the plan?
We need to get them separated.
Somehow we have to separate them. We have no choice. That means cutting the pole.
I agree with him. How?
We had no equipment capable of cutting a thick, large, galvanized steel pole like this in the emergency department.
Did you call police? They're gonna be here soon, okay? They're gonna be okay. We're gonna watch over you till they get here, okay?
Try not to talk, Brianna. Just breathe.
We need to get them separated.
We're not even sure that we have anything in the hospital that will cut that, but we know who might know whether we have that, and that's our maintenance personnel from our physical plant and operations.
Abby, call operations. Tell them we need something strong enough to cut through this metal.
Our O2 sats over here are 80%. All right. Yes, operator, can you get operations, please?
They figured out what it was that would take care of this, but it took a lot of time. And when you're there wondering, at what minute is this patient going to start bleeding to death while we're waiting on this, that seems like forever.
We're going to need some more towels here to keep this thing stable. Keep it still. Did you guys find something?
I hope so. Power saw. It's the best we've got.
Son,
Give them 5 milligrams of midazolam each. Okay, this is what we need. I need more towels, and I need them wet, and I need them cold. All right, we need to drape this pole with them.
We don't want this pole moving any more than possible, and we certainly don't want them pushing on it and then putting pressure on these patients by moving the pole around. We want that pole stabilized right then and there.
Keep them from moving, especially right now when we get this thing cut.
Now, we're concerned that as we start cutting on this, the metal is going to heat up. How much of that heat is going to get transmitted all the way up to the patient's skin where it could actually burn them? How much vibration is there going to be with this? Is that vibration going to be very painful to them? Is it going to be made medically dangerous?
Okay, we need a space between them here. If that blade grabs those towels and these girls are dead, all right? We need a space, a little bigger, right there, okay? We need to keep these things wet.
This pole is in there and holding pressure on a large blood vessel and keeping it from bleeding out in front of our eyes. Is the vibration from the saw on there going to be such that it's going to loosen things up and there's actually going to be increased bleeding with that? What's going to happen?
Okay, that should be fine. Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, I think we're ready.
I can't do this. You okay? Sorry.
The sight of 16-year-olds Brianna Meeker and Marisol Weber is not for weak stomachs.
Can you help him?
The girls are both skewered on a metal fence post after surviving a violent car crash.
I need everybody to hold this pole. Very important this pole doesn't move even a fraction of an inch.
Separating them is critical to their treatment, but it's also potentially more dangerous than the accident itself.
All right, your focus needs to be on keeping this pole from moving at all.
We're draping the pipe with cold, damp towels to try to decrease the vibration and decrease the transmission of heat up to the patient.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Relax, Brianna. Easy breaths.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Relax, Brianna. Easy breaths. Easy breaths, okay?
Okay, we got it.
They were able to cut this thing right off.
All right, let's move Marisol over there. Keep Brianna where she is.
And separate these two patients.
Okay, easy.
That's okay.
Easy, guys. All right, we need to keep her in this position. Still have a pole at her posterior thigh.
We can now finally treat them as two individual patients and address their individual issues without worrying about this connecting pole.
Heart rate 90, respi's 18.
Brianna needs to get to the operating room immediately.
Okay, is the surgical team ready?
The surgical team's ready.
Okay, let's get her up there.
This is going to require dissection, going down, opening the chest, looking at exactly what the damage was as this thing is taken out.
Let's get her in radiology.
Marisol is more stable. She is sent to x-rays.
Everybody, good job. Thanks.
Excellent.
People could finally breathe a sigh of relief and go back to all the other patients that were there, kind of waiting for us to get back to them because our attention was so focused on these two truly unique patients. The whole rest of that day, that shift, I and probably every other person that was on in that emergency department that saw these patients, in the back of our mind, we're constantly wondering, I wonder what happened to them. I mean, these are teenagers, these are kids. I have kids this age. We were so involved in these patients.
Any news?
No. No news yet.
When you find out something,
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Patient in the back seat.
Images of the impaled teenage girls haunt Dr. Edward Panacek. It's been 3 hours since they were taken to surgery, and still no word.
75 milligrams of meperidine IM for the pain.
Okay. That's it?
I'm going up there.
All right.
Page me if anything can't wait.
Will do.
Okay, ladies, let's get her to recovery. We're all done.
And?
Well, to quote the great Casey Stengel, it's fairly amazing. The pole pushed the lung to one side, just bruised the lobe.
Someone had said their prayers that day, or someone's karma was just in sync or something, because that pole going entirely through the chest missed every major blood vessel, did not hit the heart. It injured the lung, but where it injured the lung was exactly the one spot where it would injure it the least.
Your team did a real good job at stabilizing the pole and preventing any further damage.
Yeah, lucky girl, huh?
Yes, she is.
There were some broken ribs on the front going in, and there were some broken ribs in the back going out. But this was about as little an injury as you could possibly imagine, given the horrific appearance of having this pole skewered right through this teenager's chest. That was just absolutely remarkable.
What about Marisol?
Dr. Strickler operated on her, and sounds like the same deal to me. Missed everything.
They lucked out also. All the major blood vessels in the thigh were missed. It went just beside them. It took out a chunk of the bone, but not enough to have to do a lot about. That person did remarkably well.
Thanks, Brent.
Yes, sir.
There is no way that I, or I think anyone else, would have predicted when these patients were brought in the emergency department looking the way they were skewered on this long pole, that they would do as well as they did.
Nurse Abby asked me to tell you the girl's parents have just arrived.
Good, thank you. Let's bring him up here. At least now we have some good news for him.